Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the TARDIS. If you haven't heard before, it's a podcast celebrating 60 years of the longest running sci fi TV show in the world, Doctor Who. Joining me this week, where we go through Autons, Bad Wolves, Game Stations, and Dancing with the Doctor. It's the wonderful T.
Hello.
So, T, if you don't know, does brilliant book talks, amazing quizzes, and also I've seen your Loki cosplay. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Welcome. So, what is your earliest memory of Doctor Who?
Well, I would have been 10 when it came back. So I was like the very fortunate age group where it came back at like the perfect time
Yeah.
so my earliest memories will be like those Christopher Eccleston opening episodes because of course it hadn't been on for quite a while beforehand.
Yeah, the wilderness years. I can't remember how old was I. Yeah, I think I was about the same age actually. Yeah, I just remember my earliest memory was watching old videos with my dad. I think the first one was Remembrance of the Daleks with Sylvester McCoy. Oh, I love that episode, and that's what got me straight into it. And yeah, I was always remember playing like Doctor Who with my friends in the playground at primary school. And yeah, I don't know if I knew it. I don't think at that point I knew it hadn't been on for ages, but I remember uh, the excitement when it came back with Russell T Davies, and then so let's go back to the beginning. In 2005, with the reveal of Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper, that teaser trailer running through the corridor. Do you remember what did you feel when it was coming back? And were you aware at the time that it hadn't been on for such a long time?
No, I think it would have been my parents being excited about it and then being like, oh, this is the thing we should watch because I have a brother and sister as
Yeah.
well. So it was like, I can definitely remember my parents being like, this is the show, you're going to love it, we're going to watch this. And obviously, like, I was 10, I didn't know really who Billy Piper was. I wasn't cool enough for that. I didn't know who Chris Eccleston was. um so yeah, my earliest memories are definitely my parents being like, right, we're going to watch this, and us being all maybe like a bit skeptical, but we were hooked from episode one.
Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't even know. I think I didn't realize Billy Piper was a singer till after Doctor Who, to be fair.
Right, I had no idea. And like now I would say out of all of them, like Russell T is my favorite writer. But of
Yeah.
course, at 10, I hadn't watched Queer as Folk or
No.
Casanova or anything yet. But I've gone back and watched everything now. So no, I think I was just like the right age when it came back to be like pushed straight into this new world of Doctor Who or returning world.
I'm the same. That since watching that, I've watched Queer as Folk, Casanova. Oh, what an amazing show!
Casanova's so
Love
good, and
it.
so many people haven't watched it. And I'm like, have you seen David Tennant in Casanova by Russell T? And they're like, what? You're like,
How can you
come
not?
on.
How can you
It's
not?
pre it's pre Who Tennant. He looks adorable, little cute little young Tennant.
I know it's just so funny as well, and but it's just
It,
and it's only
it's so
definitely I can't rave about Casanova. I could do a whole podcast about Casanova. Uh, yeah, I didn't know. I don't really know what Christopher Eccleston when it was in before Doctor Who. I've gone back and but at the time I didn't. I've gone back and watched some of his things like Lucan. I love him in Dodger at the moment on BBC as
Oh
fake.
my god, somebody else that has watched Dodger. That is great because nobody's watching it because I get it, it's a CBBC kids
Yeah.
show. But I love a kids TV show. Like I still watch The Dumping Ground. I
Oh,
am
it's a beautiful show, Dumping Ground. Like it never
yeah,
gets old.
right. And now I'm like mutuals on TikTok with one of the actors from it, and I'm like, this is crazy. I love
Oh,
it.
living the dream there. What more can you want?
Yeah, right.
I
But
was,
anyway, yeah, Dodger's great.
I am. I can't. I'm going to see. I'm going to Wales Comic Con, and Christopher Eccleston's going to be there, and I'm meeting him for the first time. So I mean, obviously, I'm going to be dressed as the Night Doctor, but I want to talk to him about Dodger when I'm there. I want to talk about
Yeah,
fake. I
like,
hope he's proud
dude,
of it.
forget Doctor Who. Dodger. I've seen him on stage. I can't remember what it was in, but he was very good. I remember that, and it was at the National Theatre. But
Oh,
That was
I've
very
always
good.
wanted to go to the National Theatre. It's on my list of things to do.
Oh,
um,
I love theatre.
me too. I'm going to see Phantom of the Opera. I know we're doing a tangent. I don't mind. We're going to see Phantom of the Opera for the first time in January with my mum, because I thought my mum had already seen it, but I've got a ticket for Christmas as a surprise. I was like, I can't
Nice.
beat that.
I saw David Tennant on stage the other day, so I get that connects to the
Yeah,
podcast. It's David Tennant.
David is like, oh, I'm seeing good as well.
Yeah, it was very good.
Oh, that's good to hear. I'm seeing it a couple of weeks' time. I can't wait.
That's
I was
good.
determined. So, why do you think uh, Christopher Eccleston? Do you? Okay, two-part question. Do you think Christopher Eccleston was the right actor to bring Doctor Who back? And if so, do you think that the audience well received him as the Doctor?
So, I do think he was the right choice, but at the time, obviously, I didn't have the context. Like
Yeah,
now, I've watched retro, old classic Who,
yeah,
but at the time, he was palatable for everyone. You didn't
yeah,
have to, and I think that's not just about him, that's also about the writing and everything, of
definitely.
course. So at the time, as someone who was just coming in with this Doctor, yeah, I think he was great. I'm of the opinion that I think one series was actually the perfect amount for him
Yeah,
and his Doctor.
no,
I know a lot of people are like, no, we want more Chris, and I would love more Chris, but I do think he came in and was very good. But having now watched previous Doctors, yeah, I do think he was the right one because, of course, we now have more context,
yeah,
let's say, of the Time War and all that. But at the time, he was supposed to be that Doctor that had that all this had happened. And I think he was right. I think he came in, he was brash, he was a bit broody, a bit darker, and he came in like quickly, made some really lovely connections with the companions, and then just kind of like left. And you were like, wow, that was great. That was awesome.
no. I agree with you. I don't think it would have worked if, say, we had David Tennant straight from the off.
No,
I think,
I agree. I don't think imagine Matt Smith being that first
yeah,
one. I don't think it would have worked.
yeah, and I think I also agree with you. I think one series was perfect for Christopher. I know he's gone back recently and done Big Finish audios, but I think visually on TV, I think
Mm.
that's all we needed. Like any more, it would have spoilt the mystery at that time of what he went through. And yeah, I thought it was
Yeah,
perfect.
like Big Finish is like the beauty and like the comics and all that is the good part
Yeah,
of Doctor. Is like once we lose a Doctor, we don't ever actually lose that
no,
Doctor because there's usually new content.
definitely.
Um, but I think, yeah, I think Matt Smith and David Tennant and all that they work as like contrasts to each other.
Yeah,
And I think coming in with that quirky, light-hearted wouldn't have been right. It would have felt like, whoa, we've missed like 3 steps between this Doctor and Paul McGann and this Doctor and all of this. So I think he worked really well. And also, I love all the Doctors,
yeah,
but you do find after a couple of series, people go, oh, I'll get. Although he didn't let anyone have time to get bored of him. It
no,
was boom, I'm gone, I'm great. See you later.
exactly. And I think at the time they kept it under wraps. I don't think it was publicly revealed that it was regenerating until he was, from what I
Yeah,
remember. And
yeah. It's such a difficult one because I like thinking of all the good sides of it, but of course, like we all know that there was a lot of background stuff that didn't go on
yeah,
well between them. So I like to think that it was a good choice and it worked. I don't like to think about maybe the real reason he
no,
was
exactly. Think of the
like.
editorial reasons. Think that it was just perfect. What to bring the Whovian community back
Yeah.
together and to bring back the show that is now 60 next year, which is just, I can't believe it's been 10 years since the 50th nearly.
No, neither can I. I remember watching that in the cinema, so yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I hope they do the same for the 60th episodes. I really hope so because I love being in the cinema and like, I don't know if it was the same for you, but at certain moments, like the whole just cinema was just cheering. It was like,
Yeah, it was definitely the good atmosphere because I find I watch Doctor Who amongst a lot of like in my family, a lot
yeah,
more judgmental people than me. I'm very easily pleased when it comes
oh,
to
I'm the
Doctor Who.
same.
I can watch it, enjoy it, then I can go back after and be like, okay,
Yeah, and be,
that bit doesn't really make any sense. But in the moment, I'm like, yes,
yeah,
love this. And I was sitting next to particularly my brother, and
yeah.
he'll make he'll go,
Oh,
and I'm
that's
like, stop, shush. stop. So then you're in the cinema
Enjoy it.
and everyone's like enjoying it with you, and you're like, this is great.
No, it's just such a brilliant experience, and I can't wait till next year. Like, I think they're going to get it right, and I think there's a lot more mystery than just David Tennant's back. I think there's going to be a lot more twists and turns.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people are taking Russell's comments in interviews at very face value, and like, don't do
Never,
that.
not with Russell at all.
Don't do that.
So, why do you think you have such a personal and powerful connection with the Ninth Doctor in particular?
I do. I think it's a weird one because I find like I'm such a boring person. People always ask you your favorites and everything, and I'm such a rubbish person to answer that. Oh, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite? I don't know. But with Christopher Eccleston, I think primarily it's because he was my first Doctor.
Yeah.
It would always depend when you are like his episodes. Like if you said who's your favorite Doctor, I probably would say someone else.
Yeah.
Depending on my mood, it switches heavily.
Oh, I'm
But
the same.
if you were going like sit down now, watch an episode that you know you're going to love watching, I quite often just find myself back on that first series because they're nostalgic, they're fun. Yeah, I like it.
What would you say your highlights are of his era?
Okay, well, you knew who I was going to bring up very early on in this podcast. One of my highlights, and I promise I'll do one that's not to do with him, is the introduction of Captain Jack because he is my favorite character ever. I love him.
Jack is an amazing character. Like, he just brought such energy, something new that hadn't been seen before, like in the show before, and he started out well. The fact that at the end of the first series, that we thought, oh, he's gone now, and since then, obviously, we've had Torchwood, we've had his return many times in like main Doctor Who, and Big Finish as well. He's brilliant. So, why do you think that you've got Captain Jack as one of your favorite characters, and how do you think what's your opinions on his character development through? I mean, we can expand it into Torchwood and his Big Finish shows, but particularly in the Ninth Doctor's era.
I think my connection to that character comes from him being an openly queer character on TV when I was a kid, which although there obviously were TV shows, I mean, Russell T had written Queer as Folk at this point, but it was still a lot more obscure, especially to be in a mainstream TV show. I mean, you've seen it recently with the announcement of Shooty. Like, context, I know Shooty is not an out gay man, but a lot of people are treating him like he is. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of comments. Because he plays Eric? I don't know, because he's a bit like he's
very
fashionable.
Expressive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just judging his sexuality by his fashion, which should never do.
People are seeing him as gay, like assuming, and I've seen a lot of comments like, "Oh, them pushing these woke gay into Doctor Who." So like, the fact that those comments are still happening now tells me that like back when Russell T was doing it with Jack, that's why maybe it was a little bit more subtle. It took me a while to realize that though, because I always loved Jack from like the off, and I never really could be like, what is it? And then I mean, I think it might have been my mum or a friend was like, it's the gay thing, you know that, right? And I was like, oh, it's the gay thing. Yeah, I got it. Because also because although nowadays he's treated more as a gay character, he is an omnisexual, bisexual character, which I think is what it was, because although representation was weak, it was always gay men. That was it. It was gay. And I think with having a bisexual character, also he's fun and he's quirky and he's just silly. I love him. But with development, I do think the character developed a lot with them getting to know John Barrowman, because if you see that like first episode with his like fancy, like he's wearing that like suave white t-shirt, the black, you're like, and then like later on it's like more jazz hands. So, like, I think maybe it's developed John Barrowman a little bit there.
Yeah, I think a lot of John Barrowman's character bleeds into Jack in the series, definitely. I mean, I couldn't think anyone else playing Captain Jack Harkness. Like, they could never recast the character, and I don't think they should.
No, I think I think his character is one of those that works well as like a what's the word? Like he's like the comic relief, but
Yeah.
also serious, but not treated in such a way that that's all he's about. He's got serious, dark
Oh,
storylines, but he's always able, even in a difficult situation, to give you some sort of
yeah.
like light-hearted joke. Like, I mean, like you briefly mentioned Torchwood.
Oh, yeah.
I love Torchwood.
Oh,
Torchwood is one of my. I watched it when I was far too young. Like, I was definitely still too young to be watching it. And I remember the first series. They did these like non-rude episodes where they
yeah.
like cut out bits. And I remember Mum trying to get me to watch those ones, and
Yeah,
then
that was
very
on BBC
quickly.
One, wasn't it, compared to the main one on BBC Three, where it's a lot ruder and had more adult jokes in it.
Right? And then very quickly, Mum was like, "Oh, fine." I think I wasn't allowed to. I think I wasn't allowed to watch episode 2 for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but already, like, since I was a massive Captain Jack, John Barrowman fan, so she wasn't stopping me watching
Yeah,
Torchwood at that point.
oh, that's good. I think my mum was the same. To be fair, I think that you're gonna. Yeah, I think it's just probably better to introduce. I mean, it's all. I think there's an age range, but I think if you're like secondary school age, and I thought, I think
I
that's
don't know what year did Torchwood come out. I can't
was it
remember.
2006? Was it? Was it?
Right? Yeah.
I'm
So yeah. Do you
Googling.
think? Yeah. Go off topic, but I do think not being like hidden away from a lot of things does help with your growth. So
Exactly. No, it makes you more knowledgeable and develops your character.
just to justify my parents'
Justify to
actions,
exactly.
have
So
let me watching John Barrowman.
I was gonna say I watched it at the same time, so I don't think it's done us any harm.
No, I'm good.
So, what about the other companions? So, uh, include the wider families. So, Rose, Mickey, Jackie, possibly the one-off ones as well, like Adam and Linda with a Y.
I like Linda with a Y. I don't like Adam. He just
No.
there's something about him that makes me cringe so hard. He just Mickey never was a huge fan, although the scene, I'm sorry if you can hear the noise, the scene
Okay.
where Mickey becomes the plastic, if you pause it, that is one of my funniest Doctor Who moments.
Every time I watch it, it is hilarious.
I like it.
It was
I
good at the
do,
time, like visually
yeah,
with effects.
yeah. I do like them, and I like that they're very kind of real,
Yeah,
raw characters. They're not perfect. They're not this. I do sometimes wonder about the Jackie episode where she's flirting
you're in my
with
bedroom. Yeah.
with Elton and with and
Oh,
well with the
Elton as well.
Doctor
Yeah,
as
sorry.
well. Like all of those, I'm a bit like, but I do love her. It's like, yeah, when she first goes, "You're in my bedroom," he's like, "Yes, I like that." But, I do like them. I think she's very funny, and I do like Rose. She's definitely not my favorite
Yeah.
companion, but again, I think she was a good first companion for the return of Doctor Who.
No, I agree. I think Rose was good and like very representative of I think the audience at the time really. Jackie will is just fantastic. I wish we had more episodes with Jackie. I think they should give her own Big Finish audio series. Just I I don't even care if she's fighting aliens, whatever. Just a life in the day of Jackie Tyler.
Just Jackie moaning about
Yeah.
like little Jackie during the pandemic would
Oh,
absolutely
that would have been hilarious.
be comedy gold. Uh, yeah, I think with companions, I really do like you said, like the relatability of Rose.
Yeah.
I'm quite strong defender of the human
Yeah.
21st century companion because I see it as like our accessible way into the show as the audience. Like we know what the companion knows. We are with that. Like when you watch any like film, I know, like Harry Potter or something, you're with that character
Yeah.
becoming part of that world. So a lot of people are like, no, we want an alien, we want this. I'm quite a defender of the very like typical average. I don't want some rich
No, no, not at all.
unrelatable character. I want someone that I can be like, yeah, I could see her living a few doors down from me. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think like you say, it's our gateway into the Doctor's world. It wouldn't make sense if, I'd say, Shooter's companion. I know it's probably not going to be. Is going to be an alien he finds on some planet somewhere. Because it's like, how do we join the adventure? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because then they have to deal with them bringing in information that we as an audience don't know. Like we assume the companion knows most of the stuff we do, like TARDIS, right?
Yeah.
Gallifrey, cool. And then from then on, when the Doctor says something crazy, yeah, we learn it with that companion. There are some interesting rumors about Ncuti's new companion on who she might be. Have you seen the rumor that people think she might be Jenny?
No, I haven't, but that's a very, very interesting rumor. And
Yeah, because Georgia Tennant's been doing a lot of stuff recently. Like, I do think Georgia is appearing somewhere. Like, I would put
yeah,
money on that. And I'm putting that on this podcast. I can come back to it
yeah.
if she is and be like, told you. But I didn't come up with this rumor, but I saw it on TikTok and I was like,
It
okay.
could make sense.
I mean, could it? I don't know. I'd be interested.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she's had her adventures in Big Finish, in the comics as well. Like Georgia, Jenny's never stopped.
I love Georgia.
Yeah, I know. She's a. Have you seen Staged?
I have. I was at Comic Con recently, and like everyone's talking about David Tennant and Ty Tennant here, and I'm like, yeah, but where is Georgia at?
Georgia's fantastic.
I'm gonna petition for Georgia to be the ones at the Comic Cons.
I know. I'd love to meet Georgia. Like she's fantastic, talented in her own right.
Not like that we're going off topic again, but did you see? Okay. They did like a still from Staged of David and Georgia, and he was wearing this pin badge. Yeah, and if you zoom in on it, it looks like it's the non-binary pride colours, which I was, as a non-binary person, I was like, I don't even care if it isn't. I'm going to believe that it is.
I imagine he's a big supporter of Leola.
Well, she was reading a book that's coming out, a non-binary book, the other day, and putting on her story. So,
oh well, there you go. It has to.
I'm very happy. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Anyway,
sorry, it's okay. We can go off it, honestly. So, are there any companions in the Ninth Doctor's Era you'd like to return? And if so, how would you like them to return, and who would they be, and why?
Okay. Cool. So just take Jack as always a given. I don't want Rose back. Like, please leave her alone. Yeah. She's got her nice life with her doctor.
Yeah.
Leave it. I don't want this person back before anyone tries to cancel me. The character I would have liked to have seen back at some point would have been Mickey.
Yeah.
Don't try to cancel me. I'm not asking them to bring him back. But I'm just
character saying, from the
taking it away. Like, I don't want this character back now, but
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It would be nice.
I don't know. I'm very much hoping for all new stuff for this new era.
No, that would be nice. I'm glad they're bringing Donna Noble back, and it's not Rose again. I mean, maybe Martha could have come back. Maybe Martha is coming back. We don't know, but
we don't know.
I'm glad it's not Rose.
I mean, maybe Freema was just busy, but
she is really busy.
Don't want to give spoilers. I know that she's recently left one of her TV shows, so maybe she is.
Is that New Amsterdam?
Apparently, I don't watch it.
I've read that as well. I haven't watched it either, but I read that.
So you're all like, Martha, though, is such an interesting character to me, and I would like her to come back because when she was originally on the series, the early episodes, I didn't like her.
No.
And it was such an odd thing to be like, what is it that stops me? Yeah, what is it that stops me liking her? And then she was in an episode of Torchwood and she was great. I loved her. And then it took me a moment. I was like, it's because in Torchwood she was herself without the Doctor. Yeah. And in Doctor Who, they made her character so much about her pining, which is what irritated me. Because I'm not a fan of Doctor companion dalliances or fancy. It's just not my thing. I'm not a fan.
No, they didn't have it for the first however many years, 40, 50 years. Then why? I mean, it was nice with Rose, and I get why they did it, but I like the Doctor being this mysterious rogue traveller.
Yeah, and I can never quite get out of my head that Rose was like 19 and this guy was
Yeah,
like 900 and
tiny
something.
bit of an age gap.
Just tiny bit,
Tiny.
teeny tiny bit of an age gap.
What's a
But
couple or few 100 years between?
yeah. And I mean, now the Doctor then was supposedly, I mean, now we again, it gets so complicated. Doctor Who, stop
Yeah.
confusing me. At the time, we thought Christopher Eccleston's Doctor was like 900 and
Yeah.
something. We didn't know about the ward. Leave it.
Yeah.
Now we know with Capaldi in that loop, we know like Matt Smith's Doctor lived a long time.
Yeah.
The Doctor's way older now.
Oh, definitely.
So
I can only imagine like how Shooty's going to be, or even like David number 2, 14.
I'm so interested for Shooty. I think he's going to be fantastic.
I am so excited. I think, although I love I'm looking forward to the 60th. I think I'm more excited about Shooty's era because it's all brand new and yeah, I can't wait. He's a brilliant actor.
I am. And I have seen quite a few people upset about David Tennant being the 14th Doctor. But I think you're going too fast.
Yeah.
There's something there that we don't know. Shooty was literally in the next time. You saw him.
He's going to be in it.
He's going to be
in all
there.
3 episodes or 4.
Like, I imagine a changing. I would put my money on David Tennant saying, "I'm ready to go," or something like that.
I agree with that completely.
As his leaving line.
It'll be his last time visually, probably on screen.
Yeah, I do. I think people are getting up, and also I do think we need to retire. I know it's convenient, but can we retire the number system because it doesn't work? I'm confused because like, what is the War Doctor like 8 point? Like, is it like 0.5 or like?
Technically, he's 9, isn't he? No.
Yeah, but we still call Christopher Eccleston the 9th Doctor, and then Tennant is now being called the 14th. But I'm like,
he's also the 10th.
But he's the 10th, and then you've got
Metacrisis.
her in. You've got Metacrisis, and you've got her in. What's it? I'm not good with my Jodie era stuff.
Oh, the Fugitive Doctor with Joe Martin.
Fugitive Doctor. I'm just confused. I'm confused. So.
And then
and also, David Tennant technically used regeneration, like, because he put it in just the Doctor. Full stop. Get rid of just the Doctor. The Doctor when he looks like David Tennant.
Yeah, no, I think that works. I completely agree with you. I think.
Not sure it does work, but you know what I mean. I'm confused.
Well, like, even thinking about the classic era, like William Hartnell was proved to be not the first Doctor in like the Brains of Morbius. Just
I know. And are we going to briefly mention here the buzzword of timeless child?
We could exactly. That's just knocks everything out. I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I don't think Russell will retcon it. Really, I don't think. Yeah, I think he's too polite and lovely of a writer.
Exactly. I've seen a lot of people be like, well, Russell can just erase it. No, that would be rude. That would be rude.
Oh, I agree.
And they were like, oh, Russell's been tweeting or Instagramming that he loves the series. Yeah, well, maybe he does. 1, you don't know him. 2,
exactly.
If he did hate it, I'm not saying he does. I'm sure he does like it because he's a huge Doctor Who fan. Yeah. But if he did hate it, do you think he would say it on social media? No, wouldn't happen. So
imagine if he came out in an interview saying, "Oh yeah, I absolutely hate Chibnall's era and Jodie, and yeah, I can't wait to just completely redesign it." You wouldn't do that.
He'd lose his job.
Exactly.
He'd lose his and I genuinely think he probably does like it.
I think so because
not everyone is in the bubble of social media all the time.
And it's okay not to like a series. It's okay not to like a particular writer. It's fine. We're all humans. We have your opinion. Not everything is perfect, but
it's about how you put that forward and how you interact with it. Exactly. There's a lot of people on social media who I think are doing it completely wrong, and it's upsetting, kind of, because we should be a community. And I'll see someone cosplaying Jodie, they're not asking for a critical debate. Right. And I've seen comments like, not you cosplaying the worst Doctor. And you're like,
why? That's disrespectful to the cosplayer, disrespectful to the fandom and the show.
And then people will comment like, we're allowed our opinion. I'm like, yeah, you are, but there's different places. If I
Yeah,
do a video saying, what are your thoughts on this?
yeah,
Boom, I've asked for it. Or if I do a video critiquing an episode, your
which is
opinion.
fine. Yeah.
A young cosplayer or any cosplayer just being there, oh, stop, just let them be happy, honestly.
Exactly. They're showing their love for a character, showing for their love for a particular iteration of a character. But it's fine. Just leave them be. Don't. It's one thing critically analysing a show and the writing. It's another thing completely saying, I don't like this.
And I do think a lot of people that just go on the hate train for Jodie really don't understand her cultural impact for a lot of fans, especially female fans
Yeah,
watching the show either.
exactly. Regardless of what you think of the writing or Jodie. I mean, I've met Jodie twice and she's absolutely lovely person in the world. Yeah, it's it is a landmark era for so many different reasons. Like you said, for female fans in particular, the first female actor to portray a predominantly male character. Although to me, I think the Doctor is genderless. Really, I don't think.
Oh, I agree. Genderless or gender queer or
Yeah,
gender
that,
fluid. Yeah.
I
I
think.
mean, of course, they've
Yeah,
made references to it before. Capaldi made several references. He said when he's talking to Bill, didn't he
yeah,
say, I think I was a woman back then, or something like
yeah.
something.
I remember that.
That's not a very good quote, but
No, but I know what you mean.
everyone knows what I'm talking about. Some
And
all
there's
know
a
the
clip I've
actual
seen
quote.
on TikTok of, I think it's Jodie at a convention saying, "You're not cosplaying as a man, you're not cosplaying as a man, you're cosplaying as the Doctor," which it is.
Oh, yeah, honestly, I mean, Comic Cons are a whole nother field of ambiguity and confusion. I cosplay Loki, as you said at the
Yeah.
start, and the amount of times I will be called Sylvie.
Oh no, you're Loki. Like you can clearly see it from the character. Like from your
Thank
pictures, you're
you.
Loki. You're not doing Sylvie's version of Loki.
But, long hair, what I look
You're
like. I know
clearly
how
Tom Hiddleston, aren't you?
I'm clearly Tom Hiddleston. Look at me. But so it's those things like, oh, why do we have to just let people enjoy a show? Let people enjoy cosplay. Like you've seen it recently with the Stranger Things fandom. Just
Yeah.
let people. Who
If
cares?
I,
It's supposed to be enjoyable.
no,
Like,
I completely agree with you. Just that's why I love going to comic cons and cosplaying, because overall the community is just like, especially like with your Discord, and I'll definitely promote that later. With
because I don't promote it ever, and I forget, and it's there, and I'm like, promote the Discord.
But it's just like, it's just uniting people in a love for a show, a character. And like, if you've never been to a comic con, and I was saying this on a live stream yesterday, because I was trying to help new cosplayers and giving advice. I think, like, don't be nervous if you love a character, regardless of what show or whatever. Just do it. If you want to do it, just do it.
Mm.
It might be like, no, I know I was really nervous for the first time cosplaying. It's just like, overall you'd be welcome into the cosplay community, comic cons, and it's a lovely atmosphere.
Comic cons are such a great place. Like Comic cons, and I noticed this the other day. Like, first of all, I've only ever cosplayed a random character. Like, it's never relevant to who's there. I'm always Loki. He's not been at any Comic Con I've been to. It's
Oh,
fine.
this is the first time on Saturday I've ever cosplayed a Doctor who I'm going to be meeting. Like,
Right?
other ones, just I do it just for the hell of it.
But I would say, because I was at LFCC last month and I noticed that Comic Con was one of the only places where people gendered me correctly, where they
Yeah,
used they them. And I wear a badge all the time. And to be
yeah,
honest, it doesn't annoy me when people don't do it.
no,
That's just my personal preference. But I noticed because I was like, oh my God, like people at Comic Con were actually
lovely.
accepting and aware. And like when you're at Comic Con, you see a lot of people wearing a variety of outfits, a lot of, yeah, and you're like, this feels very safe. There's a lot of
Yeah,
Pride merch there as well. So
it's fantastic.
as a like an LGBTQIA plus person, they feel very safe personally from
No,
my experience.
no, I agree. Like every Comic Con I've been to, literally you get people like that. Gender, sexuality doesn't matter at Comic Cons. It's just you're there to enjoy yourself. Like, even like, I'm trying to think how to say this. even like no matter how tall, short, no matter what race you are, it doesn't matter. Like you're all there just to enjoy yourself, have a good day out, good weekend, and yeah, just surround yourself with people who are there to do the same. Like I think it's one of the most, because I've got autism, it's one of the most places I feel most comfortable to be myself and not masked.
I think so. I think it because no one's judging you
Yeah,
there for being 26 and loving Doctor Who and talking about Doctor Who all the time
dirty.
or
Just never
cosplaying. People are so rude about cosplayers on
yeah,
the internet. And so when you're in that environment, you're like, this is the place where I am safe to be here. And if you're there taking the mick out of people, you're the one that's going to be out of place because
true.
people will judge you because that's not the community or
No,
the
it's not at all.
what's being made. Yeah.
No, that was really lovely. Like that conversation. Wasn't going to talk about Comic Cons, but it's an important part. That was really good. Uh, so
Great. I've met three doctors so far this year, so I'm pretty happy with that.
that's amazing. Just a little segue here. I went to the last one I went to. I didn't book a photo op or anything or buy an autograph for Joji, and I went with my friend and I wanted to support him because it was first. He's a big fan of Joji, and he's never like. I think it was his first Comic Con as well. So I went there in the queue with her, and then I was just brazenly just asked, "Oh, do you mind if I have a photo as well?" And Jodie was like, "Oh yeah, of course you can." It's just like, yeah, Jodie was like more than happy to take a photo. I was like, "Ah, oh, what an amazing person you are."
Yeah, that's my one comment at Comic Cons. Like, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah,
It can be very busy. I've got quite bad anxiety,
yeah,
but it still felt like a place that I was able to go. I avoid a lot of big
yeah.
crowded places, but somehow I managed. Like, I have my
Look
little
what you did.
earpods
Yeah,
and stuff like that. I have to say quickly that while talking about because it is Doctor Who. I
yeah, yeah.
was at LSCC the other day, and we went to the panel where Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker were
Oh,
talking.
I love some of
And
these panels.
so before they came on, firstly, they have great chemistry together. They are incredibly hilarious. But before they came out, the like warm up guy, comes out and says, "Hello, like,
Yeah,
how are you?" And he said, usually they do these panels and there are like 60, 70 people in the
yeah,
room. And they are going to be so shocked when they walk out because the room was standing room only. Every chair was taken. It was packed. Like it was
yeah,
so busy. And again, like they've been on telly
yeah.
recently.
Oh,
But their
that's
little
lovely.
their faces when they walked out and saw everyone sat there was just, it
Oh,
melted my
so
heart. It was
kind, so heartwarming.
so lovely. Yeah, it was. It was so lovely.
Yeah, similar thing happened with Jo Martin. Like Jo Martin did a panel when she was at uh, Collectomania in Birmingham, and I don't think she expected it to be that thing, but it was standing room only. I was there just because I love her Doctor, but I'm a fan of Holby City, so I thought she was probably one of the few people that were there for it. But
Wait, that's how I feel about the new companion. I'm a Coronation Street
I
fan.
love Corey. Oh, she was amazing on that. Like, people didn't know who she was. So I was like, she's from Coronation
I
Street.
was
Like,
like, whoa, it's the Corrie girl.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I love Corey. I went to the Sorry, another tangent. I will get back onto the podcast in a minute. Sorry if you're strapped for time. Uh,
No, I'm good.
uh, I went to the Halloween Star Tour at Coronation Street, and our star guest was Richard Hillman. I was like, so I asked, "Oh, can we do a pose?" And then I'll send it to you later. But it was literally he was doing his fan of Coronation Street. It's
Right.
amazing.
So yesterday they released a new set for Coronation Street, and
Oh,
they
the
a
viaduct.
bunch of like influencers or something went there, and someone I'm mutuals with got invited, and I have genuinely, and I have friends that have been to like major premieres.
Yeah.
This is the event I am most jealous of
Oh,
someone for being at.
Especially such an iconic part of the show.
It's Coronation Street.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to be. It's my favorite show. I love it.
Listen, I love it too. Honestly, I've watched it. There was a bit where I stopped doing it, and then my friend invited me to the tour. I've been to the tour before with my mum, but not the one in Salford. Uh, yeah, and I went there, and I just fell in love with the show again. I was like, and I caught up with all the storylines instantly, which is what I love. I'll do a Coronation Street podcast at some point.
We should. Oh my God,
Definitely.
yes. We should do a Corrie podcast.
Yeah,
It's my favorite. Like, I would watch it as a kid with my family. They stopped watching it. I moved to China, and
yeah.
there were very few British shows
Oh
I
yeah.
could stream over there. But one of the shows that just for some reason played
Yeah.
perfectly was Coronation
That's
Street.
so odd. It's lovely, but it's brilliant.
So it was kind of great because it was very familiar whilst being in a
Yeah.
country that is very unfamiliar
Yeah.
to me.
And then just spending time on the cobbles, like while you enjoy it. That's amazing. Oh, lovely to see. I love Corey. So back to Doctor Who, because I could talk about Corey for ages.
Me too.
So there were a lot of new villains, but a lot of classic villains in the Ninth Doctor's era. For example, the Autons, which were first episode, which I can't believe we haven't had another episode with them back. The Gelth, Return of the Daleks, Slitheen, Time Reapers, and like the mighty Jagrafest. So what did you think of the villains in the Ninth Doctor's era, and what villains would you like to see returning, whether that be old or new?
So I thought it had a good like collection of villains in the
Yeah.
era. You mentioned the Autons not coming back. I love the Autons, and again, quick sidebar. I lived in China, which I just mentioned, and I was in the shopping mall one day, and I wish I did TikTok at this time because it's been a great video. And I was walking along, and they had these mannequins.
Oh yeah.
And as you walked past, they followed you. They moved. They went.
Brilliant.
And I literally stood there. I was like, you saw it out the corner of your eye, and I was like, and then because I stopped moving and looked at them, they'd obviously stopped moving.
Oh, that would freak me out.
And I went away, and they came back, and they literally moved like the Autons, and I was like, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I would be the same. I just can't believe we haven't had them back in like the last how many years who've been on.
My biggest returning villain, I think, I want the Slitheen back.
Yeah.
And this would be on like if I was to make a Russell T era bingo card.
Yeah.
These would be on there because they are always used by him in politically aimed episodes.
Yeah.
Downing Street, Mayor of Cardiff. Russell T has been doing a hell of a lot on Instagram of politics.
On fire with his politics.
And he's been hilarious. And I think maybe he'll come back and make a little dig using the Slitheen again.
That would be.
I'm trying to think if there's like Empty Child and Dr. Dances, where everyone loves the Empty Child character, and I love it because it's a great episode. But those type of villains, not villains, but those type of characters are my favorite. An episode where the villain isn't a villain.
Yeah,
it's not a monster. It's just something that's happening. Those ones are my favorite. Like New Earth, when. Not the first one, the second one, when it's because they're all being saved from the poison.
Yeah.
Or really off topic, Countryside in Tortured, where the villain is actually, I don't want to spoilers, the villain's human. Like, I love an episode where the villain is just not just a villain. Maybe it's like, with the nanogenes, like it's an accident, they're trying to help, or it's like humans. But I love an episode like that so much.
It makes it much more relatable, like especially I remember watching it, and it's probably still one of the scariest episodes, but I think it's because it's so not relatable, what's the word, it's believable. Like like in the future there could be nanogenes that they could rewrite your chemistry, and the fact that it's like a little boy as well, and then set during the Blitz on top of that is just a perfect bit of writing. And I agree with you. Like, I love Aliens, but I think when they're set in a relatable setting, it makes it that much more better with the writing.
But even Aliens, when in the end it's like they're not trying to hurt you, but that's what they thought you were hurt. Like, I just like it when it's not straightforward. It's not like this is a villain, this is the good person. There you go. And that's why I like Doctor Who, because a lot of it isn't straightforward. A lot of it is very confusing to be like, who's on what side here? I would also say about Empty Child episode, the bit that I think makes it scary, and it was my most grossed out bit until another episode beat it, was when they like vomit out the
mask. Yeah.
The way that is done. Now, that was the most terrifying bit for me until that Ood episode. And he like vomits out the Ood, I can't, when he peels off his skin.
Oh no, that it's just so gross, but brilliant.
They both got the same vibe though, and I just can't.
I know they are. They're very similar when you look back at it. Oh,
Yeah.
and the Slovene as well. Like I thought, yeah, the Slovene are very good. I think they've got like the Slovene weren't inherently evil or trying to hurt. They just were business people at the end of the day. If you think about it, just selling off a planet.
They were just businessmen.
They were just businessmen, just trying to. They were on their version of The Apprentice, just trying to sell the planet.
I love that so much. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any others that I can think of right now. But oh no, irrelevant, irrelevant. I was going to say I like the connection between some of the episodes in this era. That just made me think of that.
Yeah, I love that. It was the first series where we got a proper arc as well, like with the bad
I
Wolf
love
arc.
it. Oh,
And it wasn't
Russell
inherently
T
racist.
is so good at an arc. I love an arc.
What would you say your favorite arc is? Like, it doesn't have to be from the Ninth Doctor's era. It could be from any.
I do think it's Bad Wolf. I do because it was more subtle.
Yeah,
Like going back and watching it now, there are more Bad Wolf references than I noticed on
yeah,
first watch. Later on, there's the Rose one, but that was more obvious, right?
yeah.
Because you saw Rose's face appear on things. And I was like, it's the
Rose is coming back. Yeah,
like you've got like the crack in time and stuff like that. But I just think Bad Wolf was the first one that I experienced. It was done really well.
yeah.
Like Blythe Droog and all of that. It
I
was
thought that was
just
brilliant.
so well done. I loved it.
No, I agree with you because I think it. Yeah, it went. I think it appeared. Yeah, I mean the fact they used it again in series four, and then even since then they've used Bad Wolf as like in the 50th anniversary. I think it's perfect, and I imagine there's probably going to be some arc through the 60th, which will carry on towards Shooter's era as well. Which is just a fun. I like being a detective, like just the whole trying
Yeah,
to what's this.
Russell T. Russell T's back. We're gonna get an arc.
Yeah, which I've missed really. Like I know we had the loose one with the Timeless Child, but that was just like, oh, it's mentioned in one episode, then we'll mention it again. But I like a proper subtle arc.
I think no one does it quite like Russell T.
Oh, I completely agree. So, what do you think makes a good Doctor Who story, and why do you think Doctor Who has lasted for 60 years?
That's a really good question. I think, well, the thing that's made it last so long is its unique structure of that you can change it and have a new thing whilst
Yeah,
it's still being the old thing. So, I mean, you'd get bored of the same actors leave, and a lot of series go down when the old cast leave and new cast come in, and everyone's like, "Oh, we don't really like this new character as much as
yeah.
this." But with this show, you've got the Doctor. The Doctor's a constant. You've got the Master. You've got the TARDIS, who is a character. Don't fight me.
Oh no, I
You've
agree
got
with you.
the
TARDIS is
you've got
alive,
the Daleks.
not a mission.
So those connections, I think, what makes I think it's like we've just been saying, really links to our last thing: individual stories that link together. My favorite two series of Torchwood are the. Well, I mean, to be fair, Children of Earth is epic, but
Yeah,
the individual stories with the connection. That's why I wasn't really a Flux fan because
yeah,
it didn't have that. I want to sit down for this, whatever length show it is, and be engrossed in this episode, and then be able to go back and pick out episodes and not watch the ones before. And
yeah.
this is the story. I
Standalone.
love that. Yeah, a
No,
standalone episode that, when watched with the others, adds
it's
stuff.
into a bigger picture.
But you can watch this and enjoy this as it is an episode. It's fun. It's great. Watch it. Love it. Yeah.
No, that's a brilliant answer. No, I agree with you. Like I liked Flux and I liked we got meetings that we'd never had before, like Daleks meetings on Tars and things like that. But I agree, Doctor Who is at its best when it's standalone stories. Like I'm not, yeah, I don't mind two parters, but like standalone stories that fit into a bigger jigsaw puzzle is just makes it perfect for me.
Yeah. And I think again, the format is just so smart. Like when they came up with it, you can. There's no limits really. You can
Yeah,
go anywhere. Do you want to do future, past? Do you want to
no,
do
no.
aliens? Do you want to do alternate timelines? Like what do you want to do? You can do literally anything, and it's all there for you. So I love it so much.
Oh, that's a perfect description. And I loved. I think my one of my favorite ever stories has got to be. I've forgotten the name then. Journey's End, where they all came together. Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, Doctor Who, all in one place, just uniting the whole universe.
Well, yeah, I love that episode, and you have just changed my answer of who I want back. I want Luke.
Oh, Luke was brilliant.
I want Luke in it as a companion for like even if it's just like a couple
Yeah.
episodes. I want Luke.
I mean, maybe the Bannerman Road Gang might come back in the
I
sixth. That
love
would be
Luke.
lovely. And I said
I'm
that.
gonna watch it.
Mhm.
I'm watching it again because
Yeah.
I've just seen, like, adverts are targeted to to you. I
Yeah.
keep getting adverts like all of Sarah Jane Adventures now available on iPlayer.
Oh, it's just a
Wow.
brilliant show.
I know what I'm doing. I might do like a watch thing where I watch it and record myself because I get very
Oh, that'd be
excited.
great. Oh, I love the Sarah Jane event, especially when like they're brilliant on their own, but the episodes where you get David Tennant and Matt Smith in them, and then Joe Grant and
I just think they're so light-hearted and they're not supposed to be taken seriously. Like the blathering, the blathering. Just love it so much.
That actually brings me on to my next question. So you touched on it before we talked to. So, what did you think of the spin-offs? And would you like them to come back, or would you prefer a brand new spin-off to take its place? And that includes Class as well, if you've seen that.
I've watched all the spin-offs.
Yeah.
I've always wanted Torchwood back, but I understand that it's a lot more complicated now.
Yeah.
So maybe leave it. I liked Class.
Yeah.
I don't understand the hatred for Class. I liked it.
It ended on such a cliffhanger. I haven't listened to the audios though, which is bad for me, but I watched both series.
But I do think we need a new spin-off. I think those are done. Like, for example, Sarah Jane Adventures can never be Sarah Jane Adventures anymore. It can't be. But you could have Luke and his fam. Like, he's like, what,
he is,
younger than 20?
I think he's older than you think. I think he might be older. I don't know.
He looks young. He does look young. And all I can tell you about Luke is I remember he doesn't have a belly button.
No. Oh, I remember that first episode.
I do think a new spin-off would be great. And that has been heavily rumoured. Like, it has been pretty much confirmed that Russell T has been talking about spin-offs, I think.
Yeah, bring back a whole unit. He's 28, by the way. Just
He's older than me.
He's 28.
Oh, why am I okay? I thought we're similar age, but okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think who I'd like. Jenny, I'm gonna say it again. Georgia Tennant. Yeah. I am in love with Georgia Tennant.
She's just fantastic. She was like, I don't know if you've seen the new series of Stage that they put on lately. Yeah. That, I mean, I'm glad she gave herself, or they gave her more of a role this time around. Like,
I just love her. She's just so lovely and supportive and kind.
I want her at as well. I want her to come to Icons, not just with Dave, just as herself. Like,
I'm trying to think who was like, there's that joke going on where they hold like the signs.
Oh yeah, he's not that special.
I think that the final one should be her being like, I am that special.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I'd love that.
Georgia, love you.
She is just an amazing. She's just, I love her films that she does as well. Just
the reason I started having most like ridiculous obsession with Georgia Tennant is her Instagram stories are just so funny.
Yeah, I follow her as well.
They are so funny. And it's like anytime someone asks anything about David, she just like does a ridiculous jokey reply. I remember it was a long time ago now, like they said, how's David? And she just kept naming any David that wasn't Tennant. I love her.
And I could imagine her being like that in real life, to be honest. Just like disregarding David and all the things he's been in, even though obviously they're happily married and have children together.
Many children. Will they stop? Oh my gosh, there's too many of them.
Bless them. Just I hope Stage comes back. I know it might not, but I hope he comes back just for one more time. We'll get back onto that though. I just when you talk about Doctor Who, it just leads to so many amazing other things. So, what does Doctor Who mean to you personally?
I don't. It's such a hard question. It's just a constant part of my life, isn't it? It's just since I was 10, it's just been constantly there. I'm a bookie person, so there's a lot of books. It's just there's just so many facets and ways of enjoying Doctor Who that I think it's just
Yeah.
part of my life. Like I can't really say what does it mean? I don't know. It just is a constant part of my life and I can't see that changing. And I really, really, really want to get a Doctor Who tattoo and I need some ideas from people.
Oh,
I've had an idea.
yeah.
Do you remember there's the episode with Clara and Capaldi and they're going to the afterlife place?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And sat behind the desk, they have like a poster, and it's the big circle with the little circle.
Oh,
And in the end, it's like it's the eye,
yeah.
but like that. I thought that would be a really
That'd be
niche,
nice.
cute Doctor Who
Yeah.
tattoo to get.
Not
Because it would be like
overly obvious.
only the nerds would get what it was. Because it's
Oh,
just a circle with a little circle.
Oh,
I
I
think.
just got my first tattoo a couple of months ago, and I wanted it to be a Doctor Who one, but I couldn't decide. So I got a personal one in the end. I got a phoenix to represent like all the struggles I overcome and how like
Yeah.
I am now, which it's a lovely one. But I would love a Doctor Who tattoo. Wow, but there's so much choice and trying to
Well, I'm living proof of you think a tattoo might be like I don't hate this tattoo. I'm not going to get rid of it, but a tattoo that you think I'm always going to like this thing.
Yeah,
might change because I have a Harry Potter tattoo.
Oh, well, yeah. There's nothing wrong. I'm wearing a
no. I mean, this is my Harry Potter wallpaper.
Exactly. Beautiful.
But this was expensive, and I put it up before she was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't afford to take that down. It's very expensive.
It's a lovely wall. And
so I got
a t-shirt at the moment, and I know, like, but still, I don't think can stop you being a fan of something, can it?
I don't know. It's such a difficult one. So I have this tattoo, and it's the Deathly Hallows.
Oh, that's a lovely tattoo.
But what I've done is I got it changed recently, and it's really hard to see on here. But if you notice, in the circle, I've added the lines, and that is the trans symbol.
Oh, that's
so
brilliant.
I put it inside the tattoo.
Oh, lovely. Is that okay? It's like adapting the movie and putting your own spin.
It feels like I can't afford to get it lasered off. That's expensive. But that feels like very much a to J.K. Rowling, not to swear or anything.
No, I know what you mean. But yeah, I mean, it's a lovely wallpaper. Yeah, it's all that thing about separating real life from a show or fandom. Like,
it's a really not that we're here to talk about J.K. It's just a really difficult one. I guess it depends on who they are, the amount that they've hurt people.
Yeah,
are they continuing now to hurt people? Like, it's all those questions. But back to my tattoo. Circle with a little circle, very niche. I would have to explain it to so many people, but I think I might get it.
I think it'd be worth it. I think you're like you said, like the die-hard Whovians like would know exactly what it is, and then when you explain it to people, it's got such a brilliant story to it that it's worth it explaining.
They'll be like, because I was literally watching that episode the other day, and the poster is behind the desk, and I went,
brilliant.
That'd be such a great tattoo. Because I have all line work, like I love all little line tattoos. So I'm getting that. It'd be cute.
Oh, I think that'd be amazing.
I will.
So you said I think you said that you listened to the Big Finish audios. Have you listened to the Big Finish audios?
I have listened to some. I've listened to all of the ones that I can find for free.
Oh no, they're so expensive. Like I want to listen to Torchwood series 5 and 6, where they're like 90 quid for the whole collection.
And people used to buy me the Torchwood ones a lot because Captain Jack. And I did a video recently of talking about this on TikTok. Like, I wish they would come up with a way, like I understand they're a business and they need to be profitable, but a way that could make it more accessible to those that perhaps don't have that income to spare. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Even if it's like a promotional code for something in the Doctor Who magazine, or it's a subscription service.
Yeah, like Audible or something where you like $7.99 a month to get a token or something.
Yeah, and I find people say to me like, but there are loads of free ones. They are all the old Doctors.
Yeah.
And I don't like when people are very, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like, you don't like the old Doctors. Like, a lot of people, they're not their Doctors. They don't grow up with them. They don't know them. If I'm going to listen to an audio story, I've been buying a few recently, more like the audiobook stories than Big Finish. But I want it to be the characters that I know well, that I love.
No, love.
So I understand why people don't want to listen to all those ones if they've not watched Classic Who,
Yeah,
which,
it's
for anyone
fine.
listening, by the way, people aren't less valid because they've not watched
Absolutely.
Classic Who.
I agree. That's the whole point. That if, in a way, that you should embrace what came before, but essentially 2005 was a reboot. It was like it didn't disregard it, but it brought a whole new
Mm.
generation of fans to the show.
Like, old classic Doctor Who, for a lot of people, means something because of that nostalgia.
Yeah,
And like,
definitely.
I've watched a lot of it and I do love it, but it's a lot more unaccessible for multiple reasons. One, it is expensive to buy
Yeah.
unless you pay for BritBox, which is the
Yeah.
only reason I pay for it. Two, the stories are formatted how telly was back then. They are
They
much
realised,
slower.
yeah,
They are so much slower. There's so many episodes. There's so many reasons why, or people just, I don't know, don't have the time to
yeah,
go back and
true.
watch all of Classic Who.
It's
But
true.
yeah,
Oh, and it's like
I do.
it's the same as you. It's the only reason. Although now I do it through ITVX, which recommend ITVX. You get BritBox included as part of their premium subscription. Anyway, I'm not plugged by ITV.
Does it cost me more than BritBox, or would it be better for me to buy X and then get the
So
same thing?
I think it's £5.99 a month for ITVX Premium, which gets
And
ITV.
that's the same as BritBox.
Is that? But you get new ITVX shows that they're only because BBC. Just to go off tangent for a bit, BBC have sold their stake in BritBox to ITV. Very nerdy, but so I mean BritBox is staying, but now you can get more BritBox shows on ITVX.
And it's the same price.
Same price, yeah, and they're doing exclusive
Okay, I
ITVX
need
shows.
to cancel my BritBox and get ITVX.
Russell T Davies' new show is going to be ITVX exclusive next year.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll get ITVX.
I'm not
And there's
paid
a
by
David.
them. Yeah, David
Oh, there's a David
Litvinenko.
Tennant show coming out.
Yeah,
Okay, fine. I'll get ITVX.
but you get the whole
It
of
is a
BritBox
lot.
as well.
It's a lot cheaper than Netflix and stuff like that. To be
I
fair,
prefer BritBox. I
I
do.
pay for two subscriptions. I pay for BritBox or ITVX, and I pay for the National Theatre streaming service to watch
Oh,
plays.
I've always wanted to do the National Theatre, but it's another subscription, and I do love it, and it will be worth it.
Expensive.
Yeah, and I would use it. Maybe that'll be my next one to subscribe to.
It's a good one. It's good.
Sorry.
Yeah, but with Big Finish though, I do love it, and I love, like I've kind of mentioned earlier, like you've got the books, you've got the
Yeah.
games, you've got the audios, you've got. Oh, I really liked what was that one recently on BBC Sounds?
Oh, Redacted. Was it
I
Redacted?
really
Yeah,
liked
Redacted.
Redacted.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really liked Redacted, and I think there's so many areas that you can enjoy of Doctor Who, but this is where I get into arguments with people on TikTok because I don't think our understanding of canon has caught up to media today.
yeah.
So I'll say something and someone will go, well, actually, it's canon this because it's in this comic here. And you're like, whoa. But like, not everyone has access to
Exactly.
that. And I get what they mean because canon traditionally is the primary source.
Yeah.
So anything official Doctor Who is primary source. But there needs to be like a new understanding of it because what they say in one Big Finish audio out of hundreds is not going to hit everyone's ears
Absolutely
in the
not.
same way the main series. So I keep getting arguments. People are like, well, actually, and I'm like, no.
No, well, it's true. Canon is relative, really. I know. Yeah, it's what you have access to is your own personal canon.
It does fascinate me because I'm an English language teacher and an English graduate, and the way we do talk about this is the canon and this and this, and they've had these conversations with Harry Potter as well because she tweets stuff and like, should that be canon? I don't really know.
It's Twitter.
But I don't think our language or has caught up to where we are with media and technology, so that we're understanding that you got to take a little with everything with a little pinch of salt because not everyone's going to have read that one novelization of that one story from 40 years ago.
True. You just remind me I need to get the latest Doctor Who magazine to see the 14th Doctor's first comic.
Oh yes, I'm going to start buying that again. And I can't wait for Doctor Who. What's the new Confidential called?
Oh, I've forgotten the name. Yeah, I know there is a new one, but I can't.
I'm going to keep calling it Doctor Who Confidential
Yeah,
because I'm a millennial.
fair.
So Doctor Who Confidential's back. Yeah.
I love watching that. That's what, because I work in the off topic. I work in TV industry, but watching Confidential made me want to work in TV. So
I love it. I did actually do a TikTok about this recently, but I was talking about Doctor Who Confidential and I unlocked this like memory that I had suppressed. This
BBC Three
traumatic
afterwards watching it.
this traumatic memory that I had suppressed, right? Because back in primary school, there were two classes in my year
Oh
group,
yeah.
and one class got invited to be on Doctor Who Confidential. Not my class.
Oh, that's not fair.
And even then, I was the biggest Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
So, and I forgot, I genuinely had forgotten this. And then we were talking about it the other day, and there was this moment where I was like, oh, oh, got it. And I've remembered it all again. And it's my
Oh,
villain
bringing
origin
up
story.
traumatic memories.
It has. It's my
I would be insane.
I'm so upset.
You never know. You might get a chance now. Russell's back. You never know. Somehow, they might.
I know. I need to just dedicate every minute of my time to making Doctor Who content in the hope that I get invited to
Come
Doctor
on,
Who Confidential. Come on, Russell, please. I'll pay you.
pay. I would pay to work on Doctor Who. I wouldn't let them pay me. I'd be like, or
No, I'd be like, here's Russell, you can have my whole bank account, please.
just for 1 second. Don't care what I am. I'll dress up as a Dean in the background.
I don't even need that. Just let me follow you for a day. Like, let me see you do some writing.
Oh, that would be
Like, I know that when there was the 50th came out, they had some like premiere style stuff. Like, I'm no, like, there's no way I'd be invited. Like, I'm not anybody, but I dedicate all my time to trying to get an invite? I don't know.
I think it's a worthy cause to do. So I was
You
like,
do.
I'm not saying I'm nobody that I was like gutted when I saw like loads of like influencers and stuff. I was like, are you really a Doctor Who fan? Like celebrities and stuff like at the premieres.
This was me yesterday watching that Coronation Street event, being like, why?
Why are they there? Why?
Why are they so much more popular than me? Because they make good content and I like film when
make amazing content. Don't put yourself down.
Maybe, but I don't have the dedication, and I post when I'm like, oh, I'm bored. Let's make a video.
To be fair, I'm the same. I don't dedicate my life to it.
No, people are like, how many drafts do you have? I'm like, none. I don't.
I've got
just
4 for a
post.
Christmas special that I'm releasing at Christmas. That's it. Just usually none.
There's a big number there, but that's like the reason there's a large number in my drafts is when someone posts a nasty comment, I reply to it before they delete it. So that if they delete it, I can still post it and be like, but you said this, don't hide. So like loads of mine are just comments I know people are gonna delete. Yeah. I'll just save it. Just in case.
You never know. If you should, I've always been of the view you shouldn't post online what you wouldn't say in real life, and just because
some people would say it in real life, which is the worry.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, some people wouldn't hold back. That would be awful. So why do you think Doctor Who is loved worldwide? And actually, there isn't a follow-up question to that. Sorry. Why do you think Doctor Who is loved worldwide?
And no. Okay.
No, it's not loved worldwide.
It definitely is loved worldwide. It's such an odd one because it's quintessentially British. It's so British. It's like, come on, out of the entire world, these aliens keep landing on that tiny bit of London.
It's true.
Why? No one knows.
Recently Yorkshire and Liverpool, but majority London.
It is. I do think they need to expand, get a bit of Wales in there. Like, we know most of it is Cardiff. Just tell us it's Cardiff. No, it's Cardiff.
I don't mind.
Or Scotland. Let's include the rest of the UK. Yeah. Come on. Or just film near my house would be fine.
Exactly.
Right here. I think the whole thing should be set here. Just for no reason other than I live there.
So why do you think Doctor Who is loved worldwide?
It's such a baffling kind of question because it's it's like quintessentially it's British, isn't it? It's so British, but I think firstly, I do think people are very fascinated by
Yeah,
our tiny little island. Let's see that the love of Downton Abbey, people are obsessed for some reason. I
yeah,
guess it's the accent. I don't know. Um, but I don't know. I think, like we said earlier, kind of the same question of why is it still popular?
yeah,
It's just so diverse
yeah,
in many ways, not in just like diversity, which it is, and it's getting more. We've got
yeah,
Shooty now, which is fantastic, but it's also diverse in what it gives you: history, future, aliens, like different events. And I think, like I said, with Shooty, I think we're going to see even more of that. It's going to be really interesting to see because we've already been told that they're going back. We think the first episode is in the past,
yeah. I remember they revealed that. I think it was in Doctor Who. I
which
think.
I think it was somewhere, like I remember it being an era where I thought it's going to be very interesting to see how they deal with, like the same way they had to figure out how people related to Jodie, like people didn't see
Yeah,
her as authoritative because she's a woman. Like, how are we going to now see Shooty in these past
yeah,
eras as a black man?
yeah. It's going to
So
be
it's,
interesting.
but like that, it gives you everything. Like, so now we've got this whole new area to explore. So it's always new and it's always fresh, and every new Doctor brings with them a whole new adventure.
Yeah,
Um, which I think is why it's popular. Like over time and worldwide, there's something kind of so I don't really like this Doctor. Okay, well just watch this one or this one or
yeah.
this one.
Just
Don't
pick.
like this companion. Okay, skip that bit. Watch this bit. Like I think that's why.
No, that's a really good answer, and I couldn't have said it better. I agree. I think yeah, I think it's popular because it is, even if you're not British, and although the show is quintessentially British, like the diversity inclusion that it's brought over the last few years since it's come back, really, if you think about it, especially with Jack, is relatable worldwide. And I can't wait to see Yasmin Finney in the 60th world because it's just another representation.
Yeah, and we had Bill and
Oh,
obviously Yaz
I'd love to see more Bill.
recently. I would really love to see a little bit more representation of various disabilities, for
Yeah,
example. Like we had that episode with Jodie. Was it? I don't know. What's the episode with the deaf character?
well, I think that was. I've got it in my mind. It's Jodie. Maybe it was Capaldi.
No, it wasn't.
Oh no.
It was Capaldi,
Yeah,
I think. But I can't think. My
yeah,
mind's not working. But like that, and I think what it gives it is because of the vast amount of characters. Each episode's a new story. Each episode has new characters.
yeah,
It gives you an opportunity to have that diversity without making people. And I'm saying you shouldn't, but like
I don't.
people
I think I
feel
know
like
what to say.
it's too much.
Yeah, it's
Like
not.
I wouldn't think that anyway, but
Oh
there
no,
are people, right? There are
definitely.
like countries where certain things aren't as
Yeah,
acceptable, maybe, or well, they should. Like again, it's a really difficult topic because I
different.
don't get it. Personally, it should be acceptable. It should be fine, but
Absolutely agree.
it's universally popular because it gives you all this diversity while not making you focus
Yeah,
on that.
it's just there
Again,
because it's
obviously they
normal.
can do more. Everyone can do more, but I think it allows it to be present and make political comments, for example, without being too obvious. Like,
Yeah,
okay, some episodes are too obvious.
yeah.
Um, but I think it just gives you everything that you could want. And there's something for everyone, I think.
No, that's a lovely word. So there is truly something for everyone in Doctor Who, and I agree. I think Russell is where that his one of his fortes is being political and commenting on current events and issues, but without overtly saying this is what it's about. It's
I
very
do think he's particularly good at that. Like, even though the Slovene episodes was set in Downing Street,
yeah,
we know it was political. There were comments, there were lines, there were parts throughout the episode that hit differently if you
yeah.
were more politically interested, I guess. Uh, but yeah, I just think it's not. I love it when people call it a kid show. I'm like,
It's
it's
not anymore.
not. It's what a family show. It's just a
Yeah,
show. It's got something for everyone to be interested in. I mean, is it a kid show? They literally insinuate that Elton does stuff with a
Yeah.
pagan snack. So is it a kid
Definitely not
show?
kids
'Cause
friendly.
I don't
No,
know.
not at all. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'll remember that for the rest of the day. So let's fast forward to November next year. Or actually, let's record that again because this will go out on January. Let's fast forward to November. What would you like to see happen in the 60th specials? And what would you like to see particular happen or for the Doctor develop when Shooty's the Doctor?
Okay, so I'm gonna go here with what I would like rather than what I think will
Yeah.
happen. I want Matt Smith. I
Great.
and Capaldi. They don't even have to be in it for very
No.
long. I just need some Smith and Capaldi. And do you know what? Not to be offensive, Jodie and Eccleston can be there as well.
Yeah.
But I want Smith and Capaldi. But I don't see that happening. What I really want is all new. Obviously, after David with
Yeah.
Shooty especially, I want new stuff. I
Yeah.
want monsters that aren't the Daleks and Cybermen. Okay, maybe some references back to Slovene and stuff, but I want,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, things that haven't
Yeah.
been used recently, at least. I want Russell, and I know he'll do this because he isn't scared to. I want him to just go straight in with that representation and pinpoint those things that some people
Yeah.
would kind of find uncomfortable to talk about because you know what, I'm fed up of people saying it's woke or it's political. First of all, Doctor Who has always been like that.
It has
Go back and
maybe
watch
since the beginning.
anything. But I think at this point, he's got a chance to be like, no, we don't have to justify our presentation on television. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, it's not box ticking. No, these are just people and characters. And what is the likelihood that in this whole time traveling space show, there's never any diversity? That's more unrealistic than everyone being like, diverse in all aspects. So I think I would love that. I would love Russell T just to go, do you know what? Some people are not going to like this. Some people want to be negative. I'm just going to go for it and proper go in there with making Doctor Who, what it always has been, which is a groundbreaking, forward-thinking show.
Oh, that's a brilliant answer. No, I completely agree with all of that. No, that's fantastic. I think
I would also like Shooty to look amazing in an amazing outfit.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see.
Bring it back down. He's just such a dapper actor. His outfits are incredible. So we need a dapper Doctor.
That'd be amazing. Cool. Yeah. A modern version of John Pertwee. I assume John Pertwee was the dapper of his day. But
I'm sure he was.
Yeah. Wurzel Gummidge just is the pinnacle of fashion. So
I love it.
This is a bit of a silly question, but if another show or book or story universe could cross over with Doctor Who, what would you like to see it cross over with?
Hey, you say it's a silly question, but I saw this. You gave me the questions before, and this I've got an answer. Merlin, BBC Brilliant. Merlin.
Oh.
I want the Doctor to go back to Camelot, and it's Arthur and Merlin.
Oh,
that's what I want.
Oh, that's what I miss. Saturday nights when it was Doctor Who, then another fantasy drama.
Oh, I love Merlin so.
Oh, it's such a lovely show. I miss Merlin.
But yeah, Merlin. Merlin is my answer. Or Atlantis. They could go to Atlantis as well. I like that show too.
Yeah. Oh, that's what the BBC's missing. No, I think that's a fantastic answer and two brilliant choices.
And I've kept it in the BBC, so all doable.
Coronation Street.
ITV need to do a crossover. Coronation. Technically, it's already there. She should play her character. She's gone off from the cobbles, and
when she went off in the taxi, that's where she went.
She's going to go find the TARDIS, and she's going to find out what really happened to her dad, and like what all that happened.
Blow her mind.
She's going to find out all the truth of the street. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, maybe Ruby Sunday is just a pseudonym. Maybe that her real name is just Kelly.
Kelly Nealon.
Kelly Nealon, yeah.
Have you seen how many people think that that name is fake?
I have. I've seen loads, and I don't know what out of all the.
Why? Because they don't like the name.
Yeah, I like it. Just
I think it's cute, but
I think
I've
it
seen a lot
is.
of people like it's like a cartoon character, or it's too. It just looks like he's got Ruby. What day?
Of Sunday.
Sunday. Because that is why people think she's somebody else.
Yeah,
That's why they think she's Jenny, because they think it's a fake name. Anyway, I like the name.
it could be possible. Maybe she's not a straightforward human companion. Maybe she is some.
Maybe she's not, but I am such an odd like fan. People love to know. People love to find everything out, like
Yeah,
analyze. Let's look at the trailers and analyze it and all of that. I like to know nothing.
I love a surprise, especially with
Because my idea is if I'm already going to watch something, I don't need to see a trailer because
no,
I've already and I know this is very opposite. People are like, oh my God, the trailer's out. And I'm like, don't tell me.
no.
Or have you seen these behind the scenes images of David? No, I don't want to
Yeah.
see.
No, too much spoil. I would have loved to have just not been spoiled by everything that was posted around the 60th, and like I would love to have watched The Power of the Doctor, and then the last few minutes just say, "Oh my God, David's back." I mean, I was still like that because oh wow, I knew even knew we knew coming back, but
I will let them off with the 60th, no, the centenary episode, sorry.
yeah, sorry, I said
Because of how much they managed to keep the other doctors being in it under. And I wish I'd recorded me filming this because I jumped like a cartoon sitcom scene. I was like jumping on I was so excited. Like I think I could watch it again and still recreate my reaction.
I love that episode.
So I'll give it to them. But then people were like at the end and they were like, oh my God, oh my he regenerated into David. I'm like, but we knew that, didn't
we? I know. Maybe it wasn't as well.
And I was like, well, it wasn't. Apparently, what I discussed with people is they knew Tennant was in it, and no one thought Shooty was going to regenerate into him.
Yeah.
And I was like, not Shooty.
Jodie.
I was like, well, yeah, but I wasn't 100% sure it was going to happen. But like, it wasn't a shock.
No. I think I was more shocked
the outfit,
the 14th Doctor. Yeah, it's a lovely outfit. Yeah, I didn't think he would be the 14th Doctor. I don't know why. I thought it was. I know they obviously. I thought it was going to be another degeneration, but when it was announced, he was officially the 14th Doctor because they kept that quiet because they always.
Well, again, it's like another one of those things where I'm like, just don't take what they're telling. They're like, but they've said, they've confirmed. I'm like, okay, on their social media, on their websites.
Russell likes to put a little cat amongst the pigeons.
Russell likes to wind everybody up. He's having such a great time watching people on social media exploding over all this information.
I'm surprised that, I mean, obviously, this is just speculation, but I reckon it's to do with Neil Patrick Harris's rumoured toy maker, like, manipulating things.
It's pretty. Everyone thinks he's a toy maker, and I'm pretty sure it's kind of pretty much confirmed with the setting and stuff. But like, imagine if he wasn't now. Imagine now, because like we're all like, look, it's a toy shop. Like, it's definitely him. But like, imagine if it wasn't now, and it's like the Dream Lord or someone.
Yeah, it would be an amazing twist.
It would be baffling. Like, I would just imagine right after, like, psych.
Imagine if he was like a future version of the clown that Bradley Walsh played in the Sarah Jane Adventures. Just imagine that. Possible.
Oh my God, I love that episode.
It was a fantastic episode. That's why I just love Bradley Walsh back as Graham. Like, I love Bradley Walsh as an actor and a human being. Just.
Do you know what? I saw so many people complain about his appearance in the centenary episode, which baffled me because they were like, but why would he even be there? How did he get there? I'm like, sorry, that's your problem with this episode. There are so many things confusing going on. And also it makes sense. Like, how many of the Doctor's old companions are now investigators?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't he be there? Yeah. That is not the issue here. The issue here is that the Doctor literally said that a Dalek has never betrayed the Daleks before, when they literally have.
So many times.
So many. Like, Chibnall, do you watch Doctor Who? Have you watched Doctor Who? I
Can't
don't know.
expect. Can't.
But Bradley being there was fine. I was like, that makes sense. Why wouldn't he be? Like, it's
Exactly. I'm sure he
fine.
would like start a out of space Facebook, as they said in the episode.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it. And it was such a lovely surprise, like seeing Ian back and Bonnie and not
Oh,
Alfred, but Mel. I mean, but yeah,
that end scene, like the empty chair as
no,
well,
Sarah
like
Jane. Oh,
really killed me. I love that scene, and I think it makes so much sense because they are left behind.
yeah,
And what do you do with your life after that?
exactly. After a lifetime of adventures,
I don't know. Yeah, I liked it.
I'd love to see K9 back on a little tangent. I'd love to see
Kano, yeah.
I mean, that would be a good gateway for Luke coming back, because obviously he's got a version of K9, and then there's the other random versions as well throughout space.
I don't know what it is. I just really like Luke.
Luke is brilliant, and I think he's got that potential, especially if you read the storylines about what they were going to do with Luke after, if they would have continued the series, about him coming out and just all that brilliant future. Or did they do that in series 5? Actually, I'm now questioning. I haven't watched.
I don't know. I can't remember. I need to watch it again. But I don't know why. I've just been thinking about other like obscure characters that I miss. What was his name that was friends with Ricky on the parallel universe? Jake.
Jake, yeah.
Because did you see that cut scene where it was revealed that Jake and Ricky were not friends, they were lovers?
Yeah, I saw that. I thought that was amazing.
Oh my god, I need them not to cut that. I need them to bring him back to just confirm that Ricky was with him.
Yeah, it would have been lovely.
But imagine Mickey's there and he's like got to see his like dead partner.
I know, that would have been so sad. We'd put more emotion to that.
So much more.
That's what I mean. Like, there's so many good. If you go back and watch the cutscenes, there's so many good storylines that are just left hanging.
I'm trying to think who else would be so good. Like I would like to see an episode where we find out, in A Good Man Goes to War, there's that girl who betrays the army people because she met him as a kid. Go back and have us see how they met as a kid. Like, what was the story?
Yeah, and which Doctor would it be? Matt Smith's Doctor? Would it be another one? Oh,
it could be anyone, because her child. It could be Shooty. Like, it really doesn't matter, because he definitely didn't remember. He just said he was like, "Yeah, I remember you. Sure, we ran. We always run. We always run. We always do. It's what we do.
99% run and 1% story."
I would like that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many like really niche like small characters. I would like to see where any of them from Linda ended up.
Yeah, that would have been brilliant. Like, they must be. Surely Kate would have recruited them. Surely into unit.
I don't know. They weren't all that useful.
No, that's true.
I would like to see how the old man from the Titanic episode lived out the rest of his life.
Oh, Mr. Cooper. Yeah, that would have been so sweet. Oh, because we know he meets Harriet Jones somehow and sets up the foundation. Like, what? How did he get that?
How? What happened? He it's that character that gives me Arthur Weasley vibes from Harry Potter.
I know. It was such like. Yeah, he was just such an innocent character, and like getting all the facts wrong, it was so adorable.
There's so many people that I would like to see what ended up. I'm trying to think if there were any aliens that I would like to see what ended up happening to them. I don't know. But yeah.
I'd love to have seen how the Doctor first met Madame Vastra and Jenny. I would love to have seen the origins of like Paternoster Gan, because we see how he meets Strax, but just Madame Vastra and Jenny, just that would be brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a good one. And anything with the Master, like they're still up in the air, like what order of regeneration the Master goes in. So that would be amazing, because it could literally just regenerate into
anyone at any time. I think Missy is definitely. I think Missy is the last one, because I think that was the ending. I think there's so many between John's. I think Johnson maybe regenerates into Sasha, but I think there could be even more.
I love Misty. I would like a female master that uses the title master.
Yeah,
I'd really like that because I think, although I don't like the name Missy, I think it works for her
yeah,
character
the comedy about it.
specifically. But it has to just be that version
Yeah,
of her,
because the
like
Doctor
the
didn't
War
call
Doctor.
himself. Yeah, yeah. Jodie didn't call herself another title.
No, because you wouldn't, would you? But
No.
like, I think a master called the master that's a woman would be great.
Yeah, and a proper villainous one like Sasha, I'd like to see. Like I like Missy, but she had more
Oh,
comedic rather than pure evil.
I
That's just
would say, yeah, Sasha is definitely one of my favorite characters from the Jodie era.
yeah. Oh, especially just in the Power of the Doctor, just the fact he just went completely batshit crazy. But
There are moments of that doctor sorry, that master that I'm
yeah,
a bit like, oh, should you have done that? I'm not a huge fan of the perception filter to make people think he was white,
yeah,
doing a Nazi thing.
yeah. That was a
That storyline, I kind of
dodgy.
bypassed that one.
Yeah,
But Flux, not Flux, Centenary special, very
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I love that episode. I think that's probably my favorite Jodie episode. And I
I,
don't know if it's because of all the nostalgia but I think it's where they were their strongest.
I think it's my favorite episode, yeah.
So, last question: how would you
Mhm.
describe Doctor Who to someone who's never seen it before? And what would you say your favorite quote is from the Ninth Doctor's ear? It doesn't have to be from the Doctor; it could be from Rose, Mickey, Jackie, anyone.
Um, how would you describe it? I don't know if you can
Biggest
describe
question in the
Doctor
universe.
Who. I don't know. Yeah, a man, or no, a person. Sorry, because we're talking about Chris, so I think of a man. A
Yeah,
alien slightly kidnaps people, and,
true.
and they go on adventures. I don't think you can sum it up because there's too much that makes it. And my favorite quote, I don't. There's so many. Christopher Eccleston has some sassy lines.
Yeah.
He has some good sass. Of course, uh, Jack saying excellent bottom in that really American accent is hilarious. But I like when he says it. I like in Boomtown when he's like, I'd make a very bad god. You wouldn't get a day off for starters. I like that
Oh,
one.
that was brilliant. Like,
I like that one.
is
Or
there
when
a
he says banana. When he says,
yeah.
don't drop the banana. It's a good source of potassium.
It's very, very educational. Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, and very
Mhm.
sassy and very funny. And yeah, he was the perfect Doctor to bring the show back. So thank you so much for joining me, too. Is there anything else
No
you'd like to
worries.
add?
No. I mean, I have a Doctor Who Discord. I do, and I never promote it because I forget. You can find it in my bio on TikTok or Instagram, and my username is All.books.and.some.tea.
I'll definitely be putting a link to those in the video. No, thank you very much for
Yeah.
joining me. You've been brilliant. You've been giving amazing answers.
I went off topic a lot, which always happens.
Oh no, I love it when I do the questions, but off topic, it's brilliant.